It's Shakesyear time! We are still working on Henry IV Part 2, and today we are in Act 2, Scene 4, which is the same scene that we were in yesterday, and this scene takes place in the tavern. And if you remember from yesterday, there's some verbal sparring happening, and then Falstaff's dude shows up, and yesterday we got to hear from hostess quickly saying no, I'm not gonna let that guy in here because he's frickin' Russell Crowe and he just wants to fight everybody all the time. So Falstaff, of course, goes and gets the guy and brings him back in to the tavern where they fight, and they get into they pull out their weapons, and somebody maybe gets a scratch or a flesh wound or something like that, blah blah blah. They finally get Master Pistol or Ancient Pistol to leave, and then Doll Tearsheet, who's another one of the whores that hangs out at this tavern or works at this tavern, sits in Falstaff's lap because she really likes him. He's one of her favorites, even though he had previously promised the hostess that he would marry her, whatever. So anyway, Doll Tearsheet sits down in his lap and is like, oh, poor thing, let me make it better. In the meantime, Prince Hal and Poins come in, and they're wearing disguises. They're wearing waiter aprons and stuff like that so they can try to sort of blend in. And Doll Tearsheet, while she's sitting in Falstaff's lap, is like, so what do you think of Prince Hal? And Falstaff says some not very nice things. And then he's like, well, what about Poins? And Falstaff again says some not very nice things. And she says, well then, why does the prince hang out with Poins? And Falstaff says, because their legs are both of a bigness, and he plays at quoits well, and eats conger and fennel, and drinks off candles' ends for flapdragons, and rides the wild mare with the boys, and jumps upon join stools, and swears with a good grace, and wears his boot very smooth, like unto the sign of the leg, and breeds no bait with telling of discreet stories, and such other gamble faculties he hath that show a weak mind and an able body, for which the prince admits him. For the prince himself is such another. The weight of an hair will turn the scales between their habitipoi. That's a really weird word at the end of that whole thing. But basically it's saying that that Poins is a good-looking guy who plays the right games, and that's appealing to the prince because that's all the prince is really interested in himself. He's kind of frivolous and basically worthless, whatever. So the prince and Poins happen to be standing right exactly there, and they reveal themselves very shortly thereafter, and they're like, yeah, but you just saying that because you knew that we were standing there and you were playing with us. And he's like, no, I absolutely didn't recognize you. And then at the end, a messenger comes in at the end of the scene, a messenger comes in with news about Northumberland. And then tomorrow we get to find out more about the actual plot of the play and where this is gonna go. Because so far it's a lot of wordplay and people saying maybe we'll go to war, but maybe we shouldn't go to war. And I don't know, something needs to get resolved. It probably won't tomorrow though, because we're still just in Act 2. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow.